Alright, so we're at the LAPD headquarters downtown. We got a couple of complaints against officers to make, as well as crime reports against Heidi for her malicious prosecution behavior. Let's go and file these complaints. Hey, good. I need to talk to a supervisor. I need to file some complaints, and I need to make a crime report. So I'll hang out in the lobby. It's no big deal.
What kind of report did you need, sir?
So these are complaints against officers, and I need to make a crime report.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
It's a pretty cool banner. Now begins the whole 2-hour wait. So I'll wait, and I'm gonna go ahead and just read you guys this. So this is a complaint against LAPD and Los Angeles City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto for collusion with Scientology to maliciously and selectively prosecute activists. So it's a crime report against Heidi, and then it's a complaint against the 5 officers involved with the case. So I'll just go ahead and read what some of this says. This action arises from a pattern of coordinated misconduct, constitutional violations, and of abuse of authority by members of the LAPD Northeast Division acting in concert with officials and agents of the Church of Scientology. Under color of law, defendants form 4 uniformed officers and 1 detective. Oh, I gotta hold it on my other shoulder. Knowingly and willfully deprived plaintiff, me, of his civil rights, targeted him for selective prosecution, and facilitated the unlawful obstruction of public space by a private religious organization without legal justification, valid permit, or public accountability. Despite clear internal LAPD communications acknowledging the illegality of Scientology's actions, LAPD officers repeatedly responded to private off-the-books calls from Scientology personnel to intimidate, coerce, and threaten members of the public, particularly the plaintiff, who peacefully opposed and documented Scientology's blockade of the public right away. These officers failed to verify permits, destroyed body-worn camera footage, filed no reports, and refused to disclose the basis of their interventions. Even worse, Detective Ishmael Peinado later fabricated material facts and sworn statements and omitted exculpatory evidence in order to push for plaintiff's criminal prosecution, all without supporting evidence of ownership, damages, or criminal conduct. Plaintiff was the only individual criminally charged out of numerous similarly situated individuals in an apparent act of retaliation and favoritism. The charges were ultimately dropped after the case was exposed as meritless, but not before plaintiff incurred significant legal costs and endured months of reputational harm and emotional distress. This lawsuit seeks redress for the constitutional and statutory violations committed by the named officers and for the failure of the LAPD to uphold its duty of impartial enforcement of the law. So we've got, who are these cops? So these are the officers. So Ishmael Pianato, serial number 40873, is actually the detective on the case. And the 4 other guys were the ones that responded on scene. And then I wrote out the facts, which, if anybody remembers, actually dates back to June the 2nd when they started putting up the netting. I'll show you some of the exhibits that we have up here. So it did not print well, but this is actually an order from the city acknowledging the blockade of the public right-of-way. That's the booking number from the city. And then the most interesting bit that most people don't know about is actually this letter. So this is actually a letter sent over by Gary Walters and Michael Ventura, which are higher ranking officers over at Northeast, where they actually informed Scientology of what was going on and that their acts were illegal. So that's what all that is. So I'm just here to file it officially on the record. I talked to the four guys from OIG. They're just waiting on my CF numbers. And I told them I gotta file this first. And once I file this crime report and police officer complaint, then I'll go ahead and send them that CF number too. So. And for those who haven't done so yet, I highly encourage you to. People think you can't make a crime report against the city official. That's just not true. You can 100% make a crime report against anybody. And it'll be interesting to see if they cancel the police commission meeting tomorrow. Definitely going to speak to them about this. I've always wondered if Heidi just thought that this whole thing would ever disappear, go away, never be a problem for her. I'm curious if she ever truly thought. I speculate she did, but, I can't be in her brain. Even though I recorded her where she said as much. I wonder if she ever thought, though, that somebody would travel all across the opposite end of the world and hold her accountable. I wonder if at the end of the day, Heidi was just thinking that, this is an easy issue. Go ahead and prosecute him, do a favor to Scientology, get some political capital, move on with my life, and get some campaign contributions. Well, sadly, she thought wrong. And for those of you that don't know, just because I'm chilling here, might as well go through this whole rigmarole. So, almost a year ago now, June the 16th is when the event took place. But what ended up transpiring is actually starting at today is actually the anniversary. Would you look at that? So June the 2nd, 2024 is when over on Catalina Street at the intersection of Fountain Avenue and West Sunset Boulevard, Scientology blocked the public right of way all along Catalina Street without any permits. They were notified what they were doing was illegal. There's proof that they had no proof or any such permits. And I was selectively singled out to be criminally charged.
Sir? Yeah, sir. Supervisor's coming right now.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Appreciate it, man.
No problem.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna be? Are they having a police commission tomorrow? Are they gonna cancel it? Bro, they've been doing like 2 a month, man. Come on. Come on.
I don't know.
It's
I'm
wild.
off, so I don't know.
No, I know. It's just, I know all your buddies, and they're all cool. I'm cool with you guys. It's just like, bro, their own bylaws say you gotta have it more than twice a month. Like, what are you doing? It just looks bad. It's honestly some of the goofiest stuff that they could ever do to get in trouble over. And especially because it's once a week for like an hour and a half tops. Like, telling me that's like kids' soccer game, kids' football game. Telling me you can't make a kids' game. It's goofy, man. But I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
No problem, man.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Usually they'll post something here and it'll tell you about the commission meeting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever gone, here's the
Yeah,
one for,
yeah, I know. There's the. Well,
I
then
think-
if they posted it, that means likely they're gonna have it. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, so, there
Cool.
you go. Just some extra.
Well, it's good to know too. Yeah, I was actually wondering where they put the actual agenda notices physically
Yeah, they
hard
always
copy.
put it there right before.
Cool. Thank you, man. Well, we have proof that they have posted the agenda item for the Board of Police Commissioners. So let's see if they try to pull off a cancellation without any notice. Interesting indeed. So yeah, anyway, like I was saying, so actually today, June the 2nd, 2024 is the official anniversary of when Scientology blocked off the public right-of-way over on Catalina, intersecting Fountain and West Sunset. And Michael Ventura of the Northeast LAPD sent out a memo to various other sergeant and above ranking officers that they meaning Scientology and Michael Ventura contacted Scientology, that they actually were notified and educated on what they were doing was illegal, that they had no permits, and they did it anyway. Then I was prosecuted for when myself and several other people ended up removing those barricades, the stakes and the nets. And the most interesting thing is that I was not the only one that did it, but also that June the 16th was not the only time that it happened. In fact, it was June the 2nd that the original violation happened. So that's the full story. But interesting with my case is that we had 4 officers show up. 2 on approximately 1 a.m. and another 2 later on in the day, approximately 2 or 3 p.m. And all of the officers who responded never made any declarations of detainment, of an actual crime occurring, and came under the color of law at the behest of a personal call from Scientology. They did not retain any of their body-worn camera footage. They did not retain any of the police report for those incidents. Two of the officers actually didn't even identify themselves when they made contact with me. And trying to think what else. Oh, and then of course there was Galindo, who made the threats of arrest repeatedly, as he and Garcia, or the guy that's alleging himself to be Garcia, whose serial number didn't even match Garcia, repeatedly said they had a permit and they saw the permit. Well, first they said Scientology had a permit. How could they possibly know that without even seeing it first? You know, that's just illogical. Second, they said, well, they might not have a permit. And third, they said, okay, we'll go check that they have the permit. They went, allegedly checked, spoke with an official, came right back out about 30 minutes later, circling the block, came over, threatened bullshit arrest, literally didn't know what a PPA is, had to educate Galindo on what a PPA is. This guy literally said if anybody requests a PPA, you immediately as an officer have to execute the PPA. And I asked him to repeat that, and he did, like the moron that he is. And I educated him that, well, if somebody requests a PPA, you actually have full discretion on whether to execute the PPA. Otherwise, anybody would be requesting a PPA and everybody would get arrested always. That's not how that works. And so that's Galindo. Galindo is the same guy that also harassed Solomon during a later date that I also have on video, where Solomon was just hanging out on the L. Ron Hubbard Way, and Galindo and Garcia pulled up out of nowhere with their lights on and were threatening to arrest Solomon. And I was on the opposite end of the L. Ron Hubbard Way, I saw that they pulled up. As soon as I saw and I went over, they got their asses out of there. And Galindo was also the same guy that arrested Lidio Rinaldi. So Lidio Rinaldi, if you guys remember, was the same guy who was a dentist and a Scientologist who attacked Aja completely unprovoked, out of nowhere, just decided, I'm going to do this just because. Was never criminally prosecuted, just simply had a arrest made after about 3 hours of bullshit deliberation, and then released about 3-4 a.m. that same day. So that's what happened. That's the full story. And that's the utter insanity of it all. So now I think you guys have the full, unabridged version of all the series of events that took place. And this is the first time, it'll be interesting now, that somebody that we know has been at the downtown station. We'll see how this station treats us. I mean, we know the Northeast station is a bunch of nonsense. We know the Hollywood station for sure is a bunch of nonsense. And there was a stain complaint against Rand that Mindy made, where Rand said you can't film in the public lobby as she was trying to make her police report. That complaint ended up being sustained against Rand, where he pulled up a completely irrelevant and unapplicable law. And that actually deterred Mindy that day from actually filing her police report. And that's why Rand got a sustained complaint, because Rand is an utter scumbag. And that's who Rand is. And of course, because he's a scumbag, he's what? He's a detective of the Hollywood station. So that's how all this ties back to everything. So there you go. Under 20 minutes, I was able to put all that together, and I remember it exactly as if it happened just 2 minutes ago. I put this whole thing together on my own, and I'll be serving it to several people. I'll be serving it to city attorney, city council, mayor's office, DA's office, the clerk's office, the inspector general, of course, and other state and federal agencies. So for anybody that's just joining in and that wants to hear the whole story, rewind back a couple minutes and you'll hear it. The first 5 or so minutes were just me walking here. You can skip all that. I would say the most recent 15 minutes is the most important parts. So I might as well go ahead and recite the whole thing again though while you guys are waiting. I got nothing better to do. So the reason why we're here to make a crime report as well as officer complaints. And the complaints against officers are against the 4 officers that showed up and responded on June the 16th who were involved in my case, as well as against the detective who is Ishmael Peinado, who was the one that wrote up all of the police reports and also outright lied and committed perjury that led to my prosecution criminally. And he did so with a number of different issues. One of the biggest of which, of course, is he just flat out lied. He put on his report that I was violent and actually assaulted a Scientologist. Never happened. He even admitted on his own police reports that there was never any proof of purchase and proof of damages provided to him as evidence by the Scientologist that made the complaint. The Scientologist that made the complaint is Alexander Scott Irvin. He's a member of the Sea Organization, so he works $47 a week. He makes $47 a week, and he's part of the PAC security over at the Blue Building. I did see the Albanian kid, actually. He pretended to be a Scientologist, and he got into their building. That was hilarious. Dude was recording, and what a great incident. So that was a good that was a good video though. I laughed so hard, and honestly, it was great for people to see just how creepy they are with trying to keep people inside the building. I mean, that's the extent that they go to. But anyway, back to Ishmael Peinado, Northeast detective. He's the mole, okay? He's the mole making all of the bullshit prosecutions. He's writing all these bogus, outright frivolous and lying police reports to criminally prosecute people. He signed a warrant for support of my arrest, and it was totally bogus. So that's the guy that Northeast is using for all of their. Somebody said, "Do you know the serial number?" So I'll show it to you actually. So these are the officers. You can feel free to take a screen cap of that. So Peinado is 40873. That's the detective that works for Scientology over at the Northeast Division.
Good afternoon, sir.
So that's who they are. Hi. Good.
My name is Sergeant Lee Perry, LAPD Security
Hey.
Service. How you doing today?
Yes, good.
What's your name?
Appreciate it. My name is Henry Marini.
Emery Manini. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was advised that you want to speak to your LAPD supervisor.
Yes, please. That's correct.
How can I help you today?
So I'd like a couple of things. One is officer complaints, and then the second is crime report on several individuals that I have.
You want officer complaint investigation files?
No. To file complaints against officers.
You want to file complaints against the officer?
Correct.
All right. You want to step outside? Or you want
Yeah, sure. Whichever is cooler, as long
I
as.
just wanted you to get your privacy. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we stay in the shade.
Yep. So the good news is you won't need to remember everything. I took the diligence to write it all down. I'm happy to give you a copy of this, actually. I have two, one for yourself, and if I could get some sort of stamp on it to say that you received it afterwards.
You're serving officers? You want to
No,
serve?
my complaint I wrote down.
Your complaint you wrote down?
Correct.
Okay.
As well as I'm going to verbalize it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it's just to make sure that both are there.
So pretty accurate in documentation.
Right.
And it's,
That's the only reason I did
so
it.
What's going on?
So basically, the long and short of it is this. Year ago, June 16th, 2024, there was a blockade of the public right-of-way using barriers that were unlawful, placed there by Scientology on Catalina Street, intersecting L. Ron Hubbard Way, or excuse me, When Sunset Boulevard and Fountain Avenue. Their barricades actually came into existence June the 2nd. Since June the 2nd all the way to June the 16th, people were pleading with Scientology to remove them. They did not, so people as a result ended up removing the stakes. They were stakes and nets that were blocking the entire right-of-way on Catalina Street.
Now, the right-of-way, we were talking about street,
This
bus lane,
is easement and sidewalk.
sidewalks. Got you.
Correct.
Okay. Yes.
And so it was discovered as a result of a frivolous criminal prosecution where I was charged for alleged vandalism, which I was acquitted and dismissed of. The simple act of picking up the stakes and netting and removing it off of the public easement so that people could have ingress and egress, that was the basis for criminally prosecuting exclusively myself, despite being a total of 6 other people on scene doing the exact same thing on June the 16th. Even worse though, on June the 2nd, there was about yet another half dozen people doing the exact same act. Nobody else was ever criminally prosecuted. Only myself, exclusively myself, was criminally prosecuted.
Were you arrested? Or?
No,
Okay.
never arrested.
So how did they track you down? Just through investigation videos?
So they found me because my name is public and there was allegedly internal resources used to look up my driver's license. Some of the discovery shows that the detective handling the case and all the officers therein are all from Northeast. This is a Detective Ishmael Peinado. This is serial number 40873. He had conducted that investigation to find my driver's license and submit the summons to in adherence with the criminal case. Like I said, the charges were acquitted, and the problem I have is several. On June the 16th, 4 different officers responded. Those officers were found through discovery to have responded from personal calls, not through official dispatch to made by Scientology to LAPD. They were direct personal calls for these officers to arrive on scene. Those officers I have as well on record. They are a total of 4 field officers. There's Fernando Galindo, serial 41803, Alexis J. Barajas de Villar, 44460, Justin Castro, 41320, and Garcia, 45732. These 4 officers arrived at different times.
So they weren't together.
Correct.
So there's multiple calls.
Yes, multiple personal calls. Although there's 4 cops, the way it worked on their arrival is as follows. 2 cops arrived first at approximately 1 a.m. when I was at the scene, as well as the other 5 people, making a total of 6. The 2 officers that first responded 1 a.m. on June the 16th were Galindo and Garcia. They then fast forward to around 3 o'clock, also on June the 16th, and that's when Castro and Barajas arrived. Neither officer declared I had committed a crime. No officer detained me. No officer made any arrest. And so more interesting is on all of the reporting that Detective Penato did, he omitted any and all mention of all of those officers ever arriving to the scene. Even worse, Ishmael Penato lied and swore that what he wrote was true under penalty of perjury and stated I was physically violent with a Scientologist and I had assaulted them, which never occurred. The best part of all this is both the June 2nd, 2024 incident when the nets blocking the public right-of-way were first placed, including my June 16th incident. It was entirely video captured. Not just from myself, from everybody on scene. There was video footage from every which way and every angle possible was captured. My problem is that Ishmael Penato has not done this just to myself. He is, from fact, through discovery obtained, the person that Northeast Division is using to frivolously criminally prosecute anybody that publicly takes a stand against Scientology. There's been countless other activists who have spoken out in the past year and a half from the viral social media movement of protesting Scientology, who have eaten bogus criminal misdemeanor cases, all to be thrown out, in addition to bogus criminal felony cases that were undersigned as well, who are all DA rejects as well. And Ishmael Penato is a source, not the only one, but one of the key sources doing all of that frivolous reporting in support of prosecution that all gets rejected. These 4 officers I mentioned, Galindo in particular, went on to commit 2 other just utterly atrocious incidents. So on one separate occasion, on around June the 19th, he harassed a minor who was minding his own business, doing absolutely nothing, over at the Church of Scientology on L. Ron Hubbard Way. He pulled up with his officer Garcia, who I alluded to earlier, and threatened to arrest him simply just for being on the public sidewalk, because Scientology told them to tell him to get off the sidewalk, otherwise they're going to arrest him. I was on the opposite end of the street, which is how I saw them pull up with lights. I immediately made my way towards both of them. As soon as I arrived, they then fled and never arrested the minor. Galindo also was the person who arrested another Scientologist who actually did, in fact, commit assault on another activist and favored the whole arrest over a 3-hour-long period, despite the perpetrator being known where they were. They were right at the Scientology building on L. Ron Hubbard Way. We all knew there was only one method of ingress and egress, and they did a whole sweetheart deal of taking their time and never actually criminally prosecuting them for assault. That's the parties overall. That's the complaints I have are several as far as the officers themselves. I mean, not the least of which is behavior on becoming an officer, outright falsification and perjurious statements on police reports, and several others that I have outlined here. And then as far as a crime report that I want to file, really it's against 2 main people. Number one, against Ishmael Penato for the repeated, clearly evidenced malicious and selective prosecution, and also against, again, through discovery obtained, of the Los Angeles City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto for the discovered collusion with Scientology for the repeated malicious prosecution of activists speaking out publicly against Scientology. One of the exhibits that I'll share after, I actually have an audio recording where I attended a public meeting at the Sherman Homeowners Association's event back in March 2025 over in Van Nuys, where she was speaking as a keynote speaker at a public panel. I went and actually interviewed her, and I simply asked her about my case. She had no authority to make any sort of ex parte communication. It was very clear. My case at that point had almost gone on for a year. that I had assigned a lawyer, she just divulged everything that was going to happen with my case. She admitted she knew it was frivolous. She knew that it was never going to go anywhere. And she prosecuted it anyway, just to make a point, just to earn political capital with Scientology. At the time, she didn't know what my face looked like, so I had the advantage of going there in person and asking her outright to see what she would do. And she had totally illegal ex parte communication and admitted on the record that she knew she was prosecuting a completely frivolous and malicious case. That's the whole overall summary. And like I said, I have the statement of facts outlined. I have the discovery obtained through my case also printed out on hard record. I have the original police reports that were authored by Ishmael Pinato, and I will also submit to you afterwards via email and the evidence upload link, the video clips that were used in court to use as exculpatory evidence for myself to make my name clean. And so that's the summary overall. I hope it made sense. I'm happy to repeat anything.
I got it. So my thing, I'm gonna have to contact LAPD Northeast Division.
No problem.
Speak to them. I'm from the Security Service Division. These are my officers.
Yep.
You request a supervisor. I'm their supervisor. I responded.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call Northeast Division and tell them what I have here.
Yep.
And I'll get back to you in about a couple minutes. Is that all right?
I'm going to give you my email as well because I need the CF number for the officers who I'm making complaint against.
Right. But like I said, let me contact Northeast Division real fast. And
Yep.
we'll go from there. Is that all right?
Yep. As long as I get the CF numbers.
We'll get to, I'll get to you.
Yep.
Give me 3 minutes, okay?
Yep. And as long as I get an instant ID for the.
It's in number.
Yep.
Today.
Yep.
I got you. And a business card.
Yes. Thank you.
What's up, buddy? Where are you? Oh, you're out and about right now?
That guy's like, oh boy. So I can't wait for that CF number, boy. You better have that CF number. Boy, oh boy, I can't wait for the CF number. Can't wait for the incident number. And yeah, they're gonna take these records. They're gonna take them. There's no way I'm walking out of here without them taking them. And I wanted to come to this one specifically so that they now too know the whole shit show. I've got some good people at the downtown station, and I just wanted them to know the whole shit show. So now every station is covered. I don't want to just file it at Northeast directly because I know that the literal guy who started this whole shit show is at Northeast, along with all the 4 other cops. So obviously that would be stupid to just go there and make the whole report knowing that it's going to be burned. But now that they have it, it's a good day, man. It's a good day. I guarantee you, I guarantee you. Oh, I know, they probably will ignore me. I am 100% getting that CF number, though. I'm getting the CF number. I'm talking to the people from OIG tomorrow because there's a LAPD Police Commissioner Board meeting. they're not gonna hear the last of me, man. I will 100% keep coming back here. It's the whole reason I came. It's the whole reason. Yes, I'm sending a copy to OIG as well. It's the whole reason I came back to LA. All right, I've said this repeatedly before. The only reason I came to LA is because I had an interest in outing the government corruption with specific incidents. I wanted to see what they would do with this shit. I wanted to see what Heidi would do. I wanted to see what all these people would do. And they did the wrong choice.
What's your name again, sir?
Enri, E-N-R-I.
Yeah, Henry.
Yep.
You have a card or something?
I don't.
Would you have your name on
but
your
I do
documents?
have everything here. You
Yeah.
can take all this. This is all for you.
Okay. Henry, I'm speaking to the Northeast Watch Commander.
Yeah.
He says, can you come to Northeast Station so that they can do the whole complaint?
Well, I mean, you can take the complaint and forward it to them as a courtesy.
He wants me to do a courtesy complaint.
He's talking to the watch commander of Northeast. Yeah, I know. Northeast responds hella quick, man. Northeast always be responding hella quick. Well, to Scientology, that is. Yes, 100% haggis. You can file a complaint anywhere. Okay, you can file a complaint against officers, against officers in, I don't even know, Beverly Hills, here at the headquarters station downtown. There's no way I'm dragging my butt minimum of an hour drive in LA traffic over to Northeast just to file the complaint at Northeast. Plus, I got to go to a court case to listen in on. Anyway, I got to go back to the Judge Carter case that I've been covering, and there's no way I'm going to not cover that. So, but there was proof. He took the records. They have them. So glad this is all video recorded, because ain't no way. But he got the copies. But yeah, it's a courtesy complaint and crime report. They can take courtesy complaints and courtesy reports. I've done it before. I actually went to Hollywood for issues at Northeast before. And I spoke with Officer Reynolds. He was a sergeant. Sergeant Reynolds over at the Hollywood station. I forget his serial number, but he's a cool dude. He's one of the few dudes over at Hollywood that actually gives a damn and is nice. Sergeant Reynolds was cool. He took a courtesy complaint for me against officers at Northeast. So whoever's feeding him shit over at Northeast, you know, this is expected though. We knew they were going to do this. He's just covering his ass. That's all he's doing. But again, I wanted to come here specifically because A, I was already here. And there ain't no way I was going to drive all the way over there. And B, I know they can take a courtesy report here, both on the crime report and on the officer complaints. I've been waiting for this moment, man. I knew this day would come. I knew this day would come eventually. I told Heidi, you know, just like I was trying to tell Alexander Scott Irvin. You know, I'm trying to serve some papers, man. I got some papers I need to serve you guys. I'm just getting the administrative ball rolling, but I need to serve some papers to you.
Henry, situation, like I said, I'm from LAPD Security Service Division, Northeast Division Supervision. Would love to talk to you. So they're asking, can you go to respond to their station? Because I guess there's an ongoing situation at this, right? Have you been there numerous times?
I have been there many times for other officer complaints that I've
Okay.
filed. The reason I don't want to go, and I know you guys do take courtesy reports, is it'll be at least an hour driving there. No way.
Okay.
That I'm going.
Are you willing to wait for one of the sergeants to respond here?
If one of their sergeants is willing to come here and do what? Take the report?
Take the complaint
And the
your
crime
detail,
report?
Take everything
Okay, because one of the people actually works and is located here downtown. So Heidi Feldstein Soto, the city attorney, I know that's within your guys' jurisdiction. That would not
Well,
be.
she does work for the. She works for the city. She does work for the city LAPD.
Right, but she's in this area, this section, this physical location.
Oh, it's one of the location
yeah,
of her office.
yeah. So that would be a downtown report that I know you guys should be able to take.
Well, that report will go through. Will go through probably the Central Division. We don't take reports here.
So you guys don't take crime reports
We
here?
don't take crime reports here.
Okay.
It's a security location.
Okay.
Well, we will have to request units to come and take a report.
Okay.
But detectives going to be involved because it's a city official involved in this.
Okay.
You understand that? It
No,
won't be,
that part I
it
understand.
won't be this basic.
Do you know which
officer.
detective from
I don't know.
Northeast is
I don't
coming?
know. That I don't know.
Okay.
That's why I'm talking to you.
Okay.
It'll be a sergeant. I don't know which sergeant.
Okay.
I don't know who's working. I don't know their
Okay.
personnel.
Can I at least get your card?
Oh yeah. So what you want to do? I could call them up and we can expedite things. I don't wanna waste
If
your
they're
time.
if you can get them on the phone, I'm happy to just talk to them straight on the
You
phone.
want to talk to them on the telephone?
Yeah, if they're on the phone, I'll happily do that.
Okay. You
And
want to do it via telephone?
Just phone audio works fine. I'll stand out here. I have no problem making it out here.
Okay. So would you rather do one's respond or you rather do it on telephone?
As long as they identify themselves, you know, as long as he gives me his name and serial number, then that's totally fine.
Over the phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get back with you.
Yep. And as long as
and
that
on
gets.
business card.
Yep. And as long as that gets to them as well, I know you guys can transfer.
I will deliver.
Yep. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Oh, I know. I'm happy to do it on the phone though. His ass is on the phone. It's a public setting. You know, he's being recorded. I'm gonna let him know. There's no way I'm going there. As long as I have that shit recorded and as long as he identifies and it's agreed upon of who they are, you know, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. This is all an experiment. I knew this would happen anyway. They have the copy of the documents. There's proof that they have the documents. It's all squared away. I'm gonna get my CF numbers. There's no way I'm walking out of here without any of that shit. It's just annoying, but you guys see, right? I mean, this is expected, like I said. There's obviously some runaround. There's always some runaround. That's to be expected. The only thing, though, the worst thing I should say that anybody could do is not follow through, though. That's the worst thing anybody could do. Is to sit there and not file the reports. Sit there and not attend the meetings and not get it on an official public record outside of just judicial records. And at this point, I don't think they get it. You know, I don't think Heidi gets it that I'm not going away, right? Heidi doesn't get it, and neither does Ishmael Pinato of Northeast Division. You know, they think that I'm just gonna go away. They think this is just gonna disappear. I'm going to get what I came for, which is filing my damn reports, getting my damn incident number, getting the CF number afterwards, and uploading the evidence. There's no way I'm walking out of here without doing that. It will happen. It will happen. I just don't think they truly underestimate like the tenacity of people. They truly believe that if they just, continue with the runaround, that eventually they don't know me, man. None of these people know me. It's why Heidi was surprised. These people don't know me. They just don't get it. They just don't get it. They think that this is just gonna be completely washed over and forgotten, gone by the wind, and this and that, and all this stuff. It's just not gonna happen, okay? It's not gonna happen. They need to ask themselves, when was the last time some dude who they've never heard about before, but knows is legit and knows has some serious cred, came all the way from the opposite end of the country to hold accountable the city attorney of LA and 5 cops from Northeast Station for their collusion with Scientology. Like, when in recorded history has that ever happened? Like, they don't... When has that ever happened? And when in recorded history have people publicly gone on the record repeatedly saying that Heidi burned her entire career supporting Scientology? It's the dumbest way to lose your entire credibility and your entire career. That's how Heidi has burned her entire credibility and her entire career. And even if she gets reelected, I'm not going to stop letting people know what Heidi did. Heidi colluded with a child trafficking cult to prosecute people speaking out against the child trafficking cult. That's the legacy of Heidi Feldstein Soto. Los Angeles City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto colludes with a child trafficking cult to silence critics of said child trafficking cult. That is the billboard that Heidi Feldstein Soto deserves and may or may not soon get. Who knows? I don't know. That's what Heidi Feldstein Soto, Los Angeles City Attorney, has done for herself. Collude with a child trafficking cult to suppress critics that dare speak out about the child trafficking cult. Scientology is just one of the many mediums that Heidi does outright criminal behavior like this. That's the legacy of Los Angeles City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto. That's what she's going to be remembered for in the city of Los Angeles. Colluding with a child trafficking cult to frivolously prosecute critics of said child trafficking cult. Congratulations, Heidi. It's a wonderful gift you've given yourself. What a wonderful, wonderful gift you've given yourself. And for those of you that don't know, what Heidi's been up to, Heidi's an extremely vindictive person, okay? All you have to do is just look at her, which I did, okay? All you have to do is just look at her entire ex-divorce, or her divorce with her ex-husband, Peter Gregora. Peter Gregora got utterly just taken to the cleaners and worse when he underwent the divorce case with Heidi Feldstein Soto. That divorce case Okay, that divorce case, mind you, is how we found out and got the 1,200 page declaration by Citibank, where Citibank said, holy crap, Heidi is an utter nutcase. We will never do business with her. Heidi ended up issuing over 480 subpoenas as part of her divorce case in order to harass her ex-husband during the divorce proceedings. She was issuing subpoenas to people that weren't alive, for accounts that had no material relevance, for things that didn't even exist, just to harass this guy. And guess what? The court ultimately saw that and said, you're going to stop this. They slapped her with a $250,000 fine for her malicious prosecution. I mean, holy crap, bro. Citibank literally wrote over 1,200 page declaration explaining in extreme detail how and why they will never do business with Heidi Feltzing Soto. And not just on one location, Citibank. Permanently, she is not allowed to do on every Citibank location in planet Earth, bro. Planet Earth. She's not allowed to do business with Citibank. Planet Earth. Planet Earth, she's been banned from all Citibank locations. Never has that been the case where somebody is so universally disgraced and utterly distrusted by an entire banking institution. And you know why that's even worse? It's because she's a banking lawyer, bro. Heidi Feltzing Soto is a banking lawyer. That's the institution she comes from, and her own institution says, nah, we're good. That's Heidi Feltzing Soto for you. The literal institution that she works for said, nah, bro, we're good. You can have her. But it doesn't end there with Heidi Feltzing Soto, okay? It just never does. Of course it doesn't. It never ends there with Heidi Feltzing Soto, Los Angeles City Attorney. Even worse, she was one of the counselors for the accounting firm used by Enron Corporation, the same corporation known to have committed massive fraud and was convicted. That is Heidi Feltzing Soto for you. The Arthur Anderson accounting firm is who Heidi partners with to do work with. And we know that thanks to the what? We know that thanks to the Michelle McGinnis lawsuit against the city, where Heidi, yet again, through her utterly vindictive behavior, repeatedly vindictive behavior, fired Michelle McGinnis for being a whistleblower and speaking out against the utter insanity of Heidi Feltzing Soto and her repeated malicious prosecution and targeted criminal prosecution of people she didn't like. People particularly that spoke out about her political supporters. But it doesn't end there, you guys. Why doesn't it end there? Because Heidi Feltzing Soto has repeatedly said, and with a memo internally, that, quote, we do not prosecute corporate defendants. Okay? What does that mean? We do not criminally prosecute corporate defendants. It means we don't go and throw developers on criminal cases because developers give me and the city, but particularly our office and my political backers, crap loads of money, and we know they are running huge criminal rackets of the white collar crime, at the very least of which. And so we don't prosecute them, you guys. We do not prosecute corporate defendants. Heidi Feltzing Soto. That's who Heidi Feltzing Soto is. And you need to understand how she behaves and operates to understand how truly vindictive she is. Utterly reckless. And she doesn't care. And that's why I've repeatedly said, no matter how you feel about him, the cases lodged at the misdemeanor level against Scott are utter insanity, utterly frivolous, just total dog water, hot dog water in this case, okay? Utter hot dog water. Why is that? Well, take a look at all the other people that have literally committed assault and various other crimes in the past year and a half by Scientology against activists. Take a look at how many of those people have actually been criminally prosecuted. How many of them actually had criminal charges filed against them? Take a look. That's the problem. She's trigger happy to file charges on people that speak out against her political supporters, yet when it comes to people actually committing crimes and are affiliated with Scientology, she doesn't prosecute. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the issue with Heidi Feldstein Soto. That's the ultimate issue at hand here. This is extreme levels of government corruption. And that's what I came to cover. That was my whole interest. Scientology is just one of the many mediums that Heidi Feldstein Soto is doing. Okay? Scientology is not unique. They are not the end-all be-all. Frankly, as far as the city is concerned, from all that I know, they're an extremely low priority. Very low priority. So that's the problem. Alright, I'm gonna see what this guy's up to. Is he on the phone?
No, it's just standing by. I'm calling right back.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sir.
So, I mean, that's what you have. You know? That's the issue at hand here. And that's why all the activists have been repeatedly getting prosecuted and harassed via lawfare. And to tell you what, I was lucky. Heidi was not going to relent. My lawyer, I did the vast majority of the work. And it was because I repeatedly confronted my lawyer and repeatedly hammered the issue that I got any sort of work done as they were supposed to. But it's not really a unique issue to my lawyer. This is how pretty much every criminal defense lawyer in LA is, because they all eat from the same table, which is the city feeds them bogus cases, ergo they have a vicious cycle that they can just charge people to defend them, not do real justice by them, not actually address issues like malicious prosecution. They're not going to do that. No criminal defense lawyer in LA is going to do any of that. They're just not going to. Unless it's an extremely juicy, very clear-cut, black and white, high money option case that will give them a major payout, like a George Floyd case. Otherwise, they're not going to do it. Why would they go against the city like that? That's their moneymaker. That's what feeds them. And Haggis, I know they're egging me on. All right, I know that they're just egging me on. All right. The whole point is to show that they're egging me on. I don't want to interrupt them from doing the stupid acts that they're doing. I know they're going to do stupid acts. The point is to document the stupid acts. Unfortunately. I mean, it shouldn't have to be like this. I agree with you on that. But that's the whole point. It's to document them doing the stupid acts and then see what they do afterwards. I mean, I already know what they're likely saying. You know, tell them this, tell them that, push them away here.
All right, Henry. They're gonna call you.
They're gonna call me.
They're gonna call you within 20 minutes. Is that okay?
So they have my number?
No, that's why I'm gonna get your number.
Oh, okay.
I'll provide
Okay.
you your number. I received from you. I don't know if this is your office number or your home address. I'm just writing down your information.
Yep, that's a good address. You can use that.
Do you have a good callback number?
Yeah, I'll write it down for you.
Okay, there you go. I know you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Whoops.
Take your time. Okay, I know you're live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't want to repeat it. I'm just going to write it down,
Mm-hmm.
and you put a check mark next to it, okay?
I'm glad that you guys also, your station also knows all this. That's why I wanted to make sure that every station in LA City proper has access to all the officers. I've been talking to each and every one of them. I've talked,
officers?
yep, just so that they all know of the shenanigans going on. Correcto.
Okay, that's correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. And then just let them know that when they call, I'm going to record them. So I'll let them know that too.
Okay, you guys are recording each other.
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, so you're going to make your
Fantastic.
acknowledgement, and he's going to do the same.
Fantastic.
All right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to provide you a business card before I leave.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
getting a proper pin because this is failing.
Thank you. I appreciate
Coming
it.
back to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting, man. Oh my God. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. And don't worry, I've got about 30 bajillion copies made. I'm going to bring a copy tomorrow of all of this shit so that the people from OIG have it. I'm going to be emailing them as well. And, yes, LAPD is doing security on June the 15th. That's correcto. And I'll be there. And you know what I'm going to talk about when I get there? I'm going to talk about our beloved City Attorney of Los Angeles, Heidi Feldstein Soto. I'm going to be educating people about the malicious and vindictive behavior of Los Angeles City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto. I'm going to educate people on how utterly corrupt to the core Los Angeles City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto is. And yes, I'll be on my Cult Audit channel when I'm at the Father's Day event. And like I said, man, I got some papers to serve people afterwards. This is just the administrative relief. There is a lawsuit coming. This is just a precursor to the lawsuit. You know, this is just a precursor. I'm dotting every I and crossing every T. Okay? Everybody is getting this letter. Everybody. Everybody is getting this letter. People will be sued individually. The city will be sued. I'm not giving this up. I just don't understand why they don't understand that. But there's just no way that this is going away. I've told them that. I don't know why they don't believe me. I keep telling them facts, you know? I keep telling them I'll soon be a lawyer, and I will be a practicing lawyer registered in the state of California, amongst many other states. Okay? I'm going to take civil rights claims in the state of California against the city and individuals in the city for corrupt behavior. I will be prosecuting them. It's not going to go away. I just don't understand why they think it's going to go away. I've told them repeatedly, even since last year, this is not going to go away. But yet in their minds, they're like, it's gonna go away. So at the core here, again, I'll just keep reiterating this, even though some people find it annoying, some people find it helpful. The core issue at hand is that there is an utterly corrupt to the core Los Angeles city attorney. Her name is Heidi Feldstein Soto, and she colluded with Scientology repeatedly, not just on my case, to criminally prosecute activists and generally any member of the public that dares to go against political affiliates of Heidi Feldstein Soto. That is why she does what she does. And Scientology is not the only medium. It is one of many. Her biggest supporters are, of course, who else other than developers. What's going on with the case I've been covering repeatedly? Their city's getting sued for major fraud using homelessness programs to launder money. Who do you think has protected the developers involved in all of those projects as well as the city? Heidi Feldstein Soto. And who was the same attorney that worked for the same freaking company that committed wide-scale, massive fraud? The Enron Corporation. So of course it makes sense that you have Heidi Feldstein Soto at the helm of the city attorney's office. Of course it makes sense. And of course people like Scott, myself, and everybody else is getting, and Jay as well. Of course they're getting criminally prosecuted over bogus events. Of course. Who's orchestrating that whole shit show? It's Heidi Feldstein Soto. Los Angeles City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto. Her biggest stain on her own career of her own doing is colluding with a child trafficking cult to silence and suppress anybody that dares criticize her political affiliate. In this case, it's Scientology. And her repeated refusal to prosecute criminally agents and affiliates of Scientology that have harassed, attacked, and assaulted activists and journalists covering Scientology. That's the real issue. That's the real crux of the issue. And who's now at the district attorney's office doing the same thing? Well, it's none other than Nathan Hochman. The new DA is literally known and on video admitted to having private special interest meetings with agents of Scientology, not the least of which being who? Janet Whelan. Because of course they are. Because this isn't about Scientology. Because that's one of the many mediums, and a very low priority one at that the city cares about. Because they get so much more money from all these other criminals. I mean, they'll take Scientology's money, no doubt, No doubt. They'll take the money. Absolutely no doubt. No doubt whatsoever. But it's not about Scientology. Yes, people need to help support the victims who are now adults and wish to file claims. Yes, absolutely. But the real story is not Scientology, because Scientology is not unique. There are other criminal rackets that use the religious veil to hide their criminal behavior. It's not unique to Scientology. The issue at hand is the lack of accountability and prosecution of these entities. That's the issue. And who is the only entity that can criminally prosecute? Well, it's the government. It's a government that's doing all this. All of this racketeering, all this criminal activity. It's the government. That's why these meetings are so important. That's why these reports are so important. That's why these cases are so important. That's why the victim statements of the affidavits are so important. It's the government enabling, incentivizing, and not holding accountable the perpetrators. One of many, of course, being Scientology. Not the only one, and definitely not the last. So that's the problem here.
You got more stuff than I've ever seen in my life.
How's everything?
Good. How's everything?
Good, good. You having a good day?
No, not really, but it'll be
Okay.
it'll get better.
All right.
What do we got?
Well, we're having some communication issues with my fellow officers. They're kind of busy. They have a lot of stuff going on.
Okay.
I don't want to hold you up any further, but I'm going to conduct the intake.
Okay.
So with the intake, you don't mind if I sit down?
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
With the intake, I'm going to get all your information, and this is your correct address, correct? We will verify that.
Yes, and then the email is the one written on
Okay.
the top there.
And
Info at
and
Film the Police
pretty
USA.
much would basically repeat what you said.
Yep.
The incident occurred on June 16th or June?
The June 16th is when is the charge that I was prosecuted and acquitted for. June 16th, 2024.
You were prosecuted, and what was the charge?
1 count misdemeanor vandalism. I think it was PC 594.
Uh-huh.
That was the charge at hand for my case, which was acquitted.
Uh-huh. And when did you go to court?
So the actual
Uh-huh.
the actual arraignment hearing was on August the 15th of 2024.
August 15th?
Correct. August 15th.
August 15th, you had an arraignment.
Correct.
Okay, and what was then? What happened?
And then from there, it was about a month and a half later, I obtained private counsel.
Okay.
And then from there was discovery motions, and eventually we set for trial until it was acquitted by the city.
Okay, it was acquitted. When was it acquitted?
That was the Monday, May the 2nd, 2025.
Okay. So the incident, so you get prosecuted on the 16th of June, correct?
That's when the incident occurred, yep.
Uh-huh.
And then the arraignment for the criminal case itself was August the 15th of 2024.
And okay, and May 2nd, 2000
Was the acquittal. Yep.
Okay. All right. Now, so there was a charge during the incident, June 2nd. You allegedly, and you and 5 other people
So June the 2nd, I was not present. June the 2nd, I know others were present due to public live video footage, and several people at that time did allegedly commit the same act I did.
Okay, so June
But-
2nd is no play. There's nothing involved
not
in it.
not specific to prosecuting me on June 2nd, but it did have relevance because we made the analogy that the same people or the different people committed the same act and were never prosecuted. In addition, two people on the 16th of June as well committing the same act as I did and never being prosecuted.
Okay, how many people got prosecuted from June 16th?
Nobody except for myself.
Nobody except you.
100%
Okay,
correct.
and they all did the same thing you
Correct.
did. Okay.
Same
And
thing
you
on
have
June.
video of that.
Correct, 100%.
You have video of that?
Absolutely.
Okay. And so, who prosecuted you?
It was Heidi Feltzing Soto herself as
So the city attorney?
Yes,
Okay, the city attorney, so there was a complaint somehow.
correct. Filed at Northeast Station.
By who?
Alexander Scott Irvin.
Or representing who?
He is a direct member of Scientology.
Okay, someone from Scientology
s-
filed a complaint.
Yep, he specifically works at an internal agency called the Sea Organization, which he also specifically earns only $47 a week for working a full-time job for Scientology. He is 100% being used as slave
Okay,
labor
so he filed a complaint
at the
uh,
Northeast
at
Station.
the Northeast Station.
Correct.
Well, he filed I guess a crime report.
Crime report, correct.
Okay, a crime report on the 16th,
Correct.
and on the 16th you were prosecuted.
And then the case was escalated to a detective by the 17th, which was Ishmael Pinato. And then following that same week, just before the 20th, was when it was sent over to the city attorney's office. And that's within that same week period was when the city decided to prosecute, and I received a summons in the mail within 2 weeks, I would say, of that whole interaction.
Okay, so Ishmael Pinato filed the case with the city attorney, correct?
Correct, he did.
Okay, filed the case with the city attorney.
Yes.
Okay, and you mentioned 4 other officers regarding
Yes.
a response to the scene.
Correct.
And that's the scene of the 16th.
Correct.
Okay, on the 16th at 0100 hours.
Correct.
Right, 1 o'clock a.m.
Correct.
Right, give or take,
Mhm.
not exact.
Yep.
2 officers responded, correct?
Correct.
Okay, based on the documents that I received from you, and these are official stamped court documents?
No, that's just a complaint letter against the
Complaint?
officers and the crime report.
These are complaint
Just-
letters that's supposed to be given to for LAPD?
Yes.
This is okay. Here
Yeah.
I have in front of me is the complaint letter from the complainant against LAPD officers and LAPD city attorney regarding the conclusion of Scientology malicious.
Collusion of. Yep.
Sorry. Okay, and so on this date, we have Officer Galindo and Baracus.
1 a.m. it was officers Galindo and Garcia that responded at 1 a.m. to Catalina Street.
What's the address? What's the location again?
This is Catalina Street. It's just at the intersection of Fountain Avenue and West Sunset Boulevard. I believe it's North Catalina Street.
Okay. And you said it was Galindo and Garcia, correct?
Correct.
And you made mention, and at 3 o'clock it was
PM.
It was
Correct.
it was PM.
Correct.
Or was it afternoon?
Correct. Yep, there's a second incident.
Okay, so one was 1 a.m.
Correct.
Okay, and one was at 3 p.m.
Correct.
Okay. And the second shift at 3 p.m. Another two officers responded.
Correct.
Separate incident.
Correct.
Okay, so it's I guess separate phone call or whatever.
Correct.
Okay, now I brought up phone call.
Right.
You made mention to me regarding the phone call.
Yes.
How do you? What phone call are you talking about? Who called who?
Correct. So the certainty is that there was no dispatch logs made to LAPD official. We motioned for discovery on all the hard evidence, specifically for the CAD call to dispatch, as well as the body-worn camera by all officers, including the 4 on the field
Did you get
officers. No, specifically because those records do not exist.
So you may mention there. So because you didn't receive them, they received a private phone call
Yes,
from who?
from Scientology.
From Scientology.
Some affiliate of Scientology.
From Scientology.
Yes.
So you allege that someone from Scientology called these separate officers.
Yes. Whether it be their watch commander that then contacted them, whether it be another sergeant that might not have been on duty that then contacted
So
them.
those his allegations.
That's my allegation.
That's your allegation.
Yes, from all
Okay.
the evidence
So
that I
from
have.
that
right here.
allegation. So sometime people do call the station regarding a station call to ex patrol. So the officers go there and conduct ex patrol. Like for example, if someone says, "Hey, at around about 2 o'clock, I always see fights inside of City Hall South Lawn."
It could be.
Okay, so
Could be.
the officers respond. A lot are responding now. So it could be a station call.
It could be.
So the station call will not be in CAD because you just saying, "Hey, in roll call today at a certain time, I need you to go by this location
Could be.
based on X, Y, and Z."
Could be 100%. It could be.
Okay, from our discussion here.
But like I said, I'm only reasonably inferring from all of the discovery motions and all the discussions with the prosecutor's office. That's my reasonable inference and why I'm alleging that.
Okay, so you're alleging that they received a alleged phone call, correct?
Yes, direct contact privately from Scientology and or an affiliate of Scientology.
Okay. I just want to be detailed. So
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's something that I clarify in the statement of facts too. It could be.
Okay, gotcha, no problem. Okay, so that was on the 16th, correct? Now,
Yes.
your incident allegedly occurred what time on the 16th?
So the actual charge did not make mention to one particular time. It just stated the entirety of the day of June the 16th, 2024. So it was inclusive of all of June 16th.
No exact time, right?
Correct. It was presumed to be the entire day of June the 16th, 2024.
Okay. So, and so have you ever met these officers?
The 4 I actually met in person because they arrived on scene and I was physically there and I
On the
videotaped
16th.
them. Correct.
So you were there 1 o'clock in the morning and at 3 p.m.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Same location.
Same exact location,
Correct.
Catalina.
Correct.
An intersection of Fountain Avenue and Sunset Boulevard.
Correct.
Okay. And that's is that in front of the Scientology building?
It's right in front of on the colloquial term for that building is called the Blue Building. It used to be the Sinai Hospital.
So it's right across from. Like I said, I'm not from that area.
That's okay.
The only thing I know, it's right across from the Kaiser.
Correct.
Hospital.
Yes, the
Is that what you're talking
giant.
about?
Correct. That's exactly the same
When you said blue
facility.
building.
That's
Only blue.
that's the only blue one out there. Yes.
Okay, got you. All right. So files charges on the 16th. Incident alleged occurred on the 16th. Went to court on August 15th. Acquittal on the
2nd of May.
2nd of 2025. Correct.
Yes.
So your allegations with the officers are what with the officers?
Several. I mean, not the least of which is
Any complaints? Any? Did they file? Did they make any arrests?
they
These
did
two
not.
officers?
They did not make any arrests.
No arrests?
No.
Okay. Did
They did threaten arrest repeatedly, but never actually stated a lawful basis for.
You said they make alleged arrest. What would they say?
So, I'll give you one example, and it's not the only one. Officer Galindo, who came back for a second time at around 1:30 a.m., stated that he doesn't want to arrest me because he thinks I'm a nice guy and doesn't want to execute a PPA. Scientology could demand a PPA, and I would have to execute the PPA, and literally admitted on camera that anytime anybody demands a PPA, a law enforcement officer 100% of the time has to execute the PPA point blank.
Okay. Did you believe that?
I confronted him. I said, that is 100% not the case, to which he restated his previous claim I just mentioned. And that's what Officer Galindo said and did.
And did you believe that statement?
I mean, yeah, he's a cop. Why wouldn't I believe him when he says, I'm going to arrest
He
you?
made it, but he said he doesn't want to arrest you because you're a nice guy. So he wasn't really threatening you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely he's threatening. He's got a gun. He's got another guy who's got a gun.
Well, it seemed like you guys had some good dialogue.
Oh, absolutely not. That was not the only time that he was threatening arrest. The first interaction I had with him, too, he's threatening arrest as well, with no basis of law whatsoever. So that's not friendly at all. I'm only smiling and laughing at you now because it's utterly ridiculous and I'm over the case. But it was fucking terrifying. The dude's with a gun, with another buddy of his with a gun, where all I had is my phone, repeatedly threatening arrest at 1 a.m. I was shitting bricks. No fucking pun intended. He was gonna fucking arrest me. Clear as day, he was gun-ho to do it. And I would have been fucked. There's no way I could put that any more straighter and cruder.
Okay, so that was at 1 o'clock.
The first time he came, yes, they swung by, as I write down too in the statement of facts, a second time, driving down with, both of them were in occupied one cruiser, so they shared one cruiser, they were riding together.
Okay. What about Castro and his partner?
Castro and his partner also shared the same cruiser. They arrived on scene together with a singular cruiser. They also pulled up on Catalina. They only arrived on scene just once, and afterwards left.
What
They
is your
didn't.
allegations with him?
With them, again, there's several that I also outline in there, just the ones that come off the top of my head. So Castro and Barajas never actually identified themselves when they made contact with me.
What you mean identify themselves?
They did not identify who they were.
What type of car did they get out of?
They was a police cruiser, but they never.
Uniform?
Yeah, and they never identified who any of them were. They never said who they were.
Okay. When the police shows up, do you notice the police? Could you identify that they're police and not security?
It doesn't matter. LAPD policy states that when you make contact with the public, you inform them of who you are, not law enforcement generally, but you as an individual, 5264, but Sergeant such and such, serial number such and such. I am on a call for XYZ, hence I'm making contact with you. That never happened. What happened literally is these dudes came up out of nowhere, demanded I sign a piece of paper that they did not give me a chance to even read.
What was the piece of paper?
I still don't know to this day. And I challenged them and said, why the hell would I sign anything without ever getting a chance to read it and just simply taking a word that I need to sign it.
Okay. Did
And
you sign
then,
it?
no. And that need immediately turned into, well, actually it's a request. So immediately from the get-go, there was clearly behavior unbecoming of an officer
So they actually just signed a piece of paper?
without no context whatsoever, without ever introducing what specifically they're there for, who they as individuals of law enforcement are, just immediately demanded I sign a piece of paper just cause. No. So that was one of many incidents, as again I write there, at the very least of which, behavior unbecoming of an officer. And this is for all four of them, but particularly of Castro and Barajas.
Okay. Any more allegations against the officers?
There's several that I
I've read it to allegations.
Yeah.
I'm just talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, the other one, just going off the top of my head, I mean, that's the one that just, I think I told you already, the lack of LAPD, the not identifying who they individually are from law enforcement. Only afterwards did I personally find out who they are through the Watch the Watchers portal, where I facial recognition both of their faces and found them. That's the only way I found them out afterwards.
So pretty much, I'm just go with the policy and violations. Policy violations and legal arguments, right? This is what you're talking
Right,
about?
right.
This section here.
Right.
You said the officers involved, you mentioned Detective Panado, right?
Yes.
So pretty much we said falsifying police reports.
That's one of them for
admitting
Pinado.
exclusion, exculpatory evidence.
Correct.
Proceeding with investigation without verifying evidence of ownership and damages.
Correct. Literally admitted on his own report, which I gave you a copy of.
And violating plaintiff's due process and civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
And when you mentioned violating the due process, you felt you didn't have due process. Did you ever get arrested?
No.
But you did have a day in court, right? Allegedly.
Well,
the
not
15th?
really, because the way specifically LA misdemeanors work is you don't have any sort of probable cause hearing. You only have criminal arraignment, trial. The only other conferences that happen are simply discovery motions or
Okay.
continuances based on schedules that might not work.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
All right. So with the officers, acting, when we discussed this earlier, acting on private calls outside of official dispatch.
And for the purposes of affiliating with a religious entity to do their bidding.
Okay.
Right.
Failing to provide proof of permits.
Yes, that was one of the many repeated points I had with all 4 field officers. Specifically, every interaction with all 4 officers was such that they arrived on scene, immediately started claiming, without being prompted, that Scientology had a permit to block the public right-of-way. I challenged them and said, I want to see a copy. I do not wish to just take your word just because. If it's a blockade of the public right-of-way, that permit needs to be publicly displayed so that I actually have the opportunity to do right and not avail myself to committing a crime if I didn't even know it was blockaded.
Okay. Gotcha.
Their answers then immediately from that challenging point of mine change into, well, they said they do, but we don't know. Well, we're not sure that they have one. And they came, in the case of Garcia and Galindo, when they came back the second time, because they promised to get a copy of the permit for us to see, yet again said, well, we saw the permit, but we're not going to give you a copy to see, and they don't want you to see, they being Scientology, don't want you to see a copy, and they won't give me a copy. So you're just going to have to take our word for it. And then I challenged them again.
Okay.
Is there a permit? Well, so there's no permit. If it's not publicly posted, it's not publicly made available.
Misrepresenting representing the law.
The
Regarding
PPA.
PPA.
Right. That one is clear as day. I mean,
Threats of unlawful arrest. I guess that's still
repeatedly, all
PPA.
4. Yeah.
And failure to document the incident.
With no such police reports from the 4 responding field officers.
Okay, but then you also has no body worn footage.
Footage, correct.
So that's not
Records do
so-
not exist.
Right. But you were unable to obtain the body worn.
They had body worn cameras, as clearly evidenced by when I filmed them. You can see, but those records, through formal discovery motions, do not exist.
They do not exist to you to allow you to receive them.
No, do not exist.
Okay. And your violation of Department Identification and Conduct Policy.
Right.
That's I guess that's behavior
Fit.
unbecoming of an officer.
Right.
Okay. All right. Now, you any more additional? Did I recap everything right now?
Pretty much for the officers, yep.
For the officer.
Yep,
Now,
and
for the
then
detective.
yep, the detective I think is pretty straightforward and cut and dry too. I mean, the biggest issue, first of all, in the police report was that he said I was violent, which I was not. There was, first of all, no Scientologists present on June the 16th, 2024, neither at 1 a.m. nor at 3 p.m. on scene. So how could I have been violent and assaulted somebody that does not exist? I also never assaulted and I was not violent towards any of the other members of the public who were activists who were filming the incident. So that's first of all. Second of all, he admits on all of his reporting that Scientology never submitted any evidence of ownership and or damages of the alleged netting being removed. And thirdly, literally filed a declaration in support of an arrest and of criminal prosecution based on the two biggest elements of vandalism not being met by his own written admission.
Do you have anything else to discuss?
And then the last part is I want a crime report made against Heidi Feldstein Soto for the repeated selective and malicious prosecution of critics of her political allies, one of which in this case being
Critics?
yes.
That you're going to take up with her office and her management.
So you're saying I need to go and make a crime report against Heidi only at the city attorney's office?
You have to talk to them regarding that, or go to Central Division.
Okay.
So I'm only here for the investigation.
Okay. No, I just wanted to confirm. I know we talked about it before, but I just wanted to confirm. Okay,
Yes,
I'll do that.
Because like I say, I don't know when you spoke to her. I know you spoke to, well, she's here based out of
Right,
town.
right.
But your conversation you told me about before happened in the Valley. I don't know how you want to do it that way.
Understood.
But like I say,
I'll follow.
Central Division is on 6th Street.
Yep.
251
Okay.
East 6th Street.
Okay.
But like I say, you probably want to speak to the detective before you go any further.
Okay,
regarding that.
will do.
Because you talk to the front desk officer, and he's going to go actually executive. So
Understood.
Because who she is.
I
You
understood.
understand that?
Understood. Yeah.
She's not the average person.
No, I understand.
Okay, and
Yeah.
what you're saying is not
This has been a
average-
long
it's not
time in the
average
making.
investigation. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I'll look forward to sometime within this week to get a CF number
You're going to get a
for
letter regarding the
yeah
CF number.
via
yes.
email info@filmthepoliceusa.com.
Yes, you're going to get all that. So you
Okay.
will get it.
I appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
Anything
Thank you,
else?
sir. And then I
have a
think you
business-
gave me
I'll
the
give you a
card.
business card.
Okay. Sounds good.
Like I say, you will get a CF number. You get a letter from this Los
Perfect.
Angeles Police Department
Perfect.
regarding this complaint.
Perfect. And I just want to commend you personally for your courtesy on allowing me the chance to speak, sitting and actually listening, asking clarifying questions. It's exceptionally rare. I wish it wasn't so, but I want to commend you for taking the time. And on a personal note, I want to commend you for cutting through whatever bureaucratic red tape there may or may not have been, and just simply sitting down face to face, one human to another, and aiding me in this. And I appreciate it. So I want to commend you for that.
Thank you.
So it's not the easiest situation, I'm well aware, but like I said, I just want to commend you on that formally. I appreciate the respect, and that's it. I just appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Good luck, man.
Appreciate it. All right, I just wanted to capture this. So we talked with Sergeant Lee Perry, serial number 34733. And we've got the incident number. And so that's it. So that's all I got. I'm gonna go and make a crime report probably tomorrow, because I gotta go watch the court case. So yep. tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, tomorrow.
Take care, sir.
You too. Have a good one, man. So what happens now is I'm going to get a CF number for the officer complaints, and I have to go to Central Division for a crime report against City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto. So that's what's going to happen. And I got to deliver them the same paperwork that I just delivered against Heidi Feldstein Soto, and then tomorrow I'll be at the police commissioner's meeting as well. So that's what's going to happen. For now, I'm done here. I'm going to head back to the courthouse and listen in on the case. I've got some stuff to report back on that. And that's all I got for you guys for now. So, yeah. I'm just going to keep you guys on the stream for a little bit, because I always know how this happens. Every time there's like that, you know, you take down all your stuff, there's like 50 people that come by wanting to talk to you, and then it all happens off camera, and then you have no record of it. So I'm gonna be diligent about it this time. I'm gonna keep you guys on stream, and take all my stuff, put it in my bag until I get to where I need to be. Yeah, Jen says smart. Well, I don't know if it's more so smart than learning from the 50 bajillion other times that I've had to endure this, because the last time when I had an interaction with Barajas and the other guy Castro, the only reason I was able to catch that on video is because I had my body cam footage still rolling. I didn't know that those guys were going to roll up out of nowhere and start demanding, barking orders that I got to sign a stupid piece of paper that they didn't give me a chance to read, demanding I sign it, and then said, oh, no, actually, you don't have to. There's no legal basis. We're just asking you to. Oh, you're just asking me to. Oh, I see. So it changed from a demand to, oh, now you're asking me. Oh, interesting. Wow. That's interesting. And so it's an ask now. It's not a tell. It's an ask. Oh, I see. So, anyway. As Will says, it's goofy. It's so goofy. But, alright. I gotta go to the courthouse, man. There's some... It's a long case. I was gonna explain that more to you guys. I don't want to get into it now. It's way too much crap. But I'll explain it to you guys when I get over there. So goofy. Look at this goofy over here. Come on, you're so goofy, man. All right, I gotta hop on my scooter though. So yeah, I'm honestly surprised. It only took 2 hours. I was thinking a minimum of like 4, but hey. Well, it's gonna be 4 actually, because I gotta do the crime report on a lady, so. Oh well. All right, I'm at my scooter. I'll see you guys. Peace out. So goofy.